Hey tribe, so this reading was suggested by someone, I don't remember who, where we kind of do a pick a card, but really we do a flip a book type of reading where I feel which page I want to land on, and hopefully this is a message that would benefit you that day, that week, that month. We're going to have 4 options. I'll put a thumbnail up right now so it's easier for you to choose from, since I only have 2 books on the table. And see, maybe you're going to want to hear one message from one book, one message from the other book. Completely feel free to listen to as many options here as you want, and I will see you in timestamps. Hello group number 1. Before I start, just a reminder, if you want to join, if you want to comment anything below this video, really, and I'm gonna be choosing every Wednesday one person to read for from the comment section. You don't have to share too much personal info or situations, personal situations if you don't want to. Just type agree or just comment normally whatever you would want to say about this reading, and type agree if you want to join. Every Wednesday I will reply to one of your comments with a mini reading in the comment section. So let's go. Group number 1, what do you need to hear? Let me just fix this a little bit so the mic is out of the way. What do you need to hear? This is actually a great book for anyone, especially for parents or people who are going to be parents one day. Okay, straight to chapter number 6, when they don't want you to grow. Let's talk about this. Let's peek where we're going to end. We will see. If I'll feel like reading a little bit more, I will do so. The gloom and the fog are beginning to lift. Life is appearing far more manageable now that you have adopted your Pollyanna attitude. As you begin to put your newfound positiveness into action and make some longed-for changes, you suddenly find that something is amiss with people in your life. Both inside and outside your home, you begin to realize that some of the significant people in your life don't seem to like changes in you, even if the old you was total wreck. What is happening? What is happening is that others have become accustomed to interacting with you in a certain way. And when that pattern of interaction is broken, there is usually upset of varying degrees. Even when you understand it, this upset can be very disturbing. Not only are you fearful of moving forward, you are now fearful of losing your relationships. Just when you are in need of a cheering squad, you find yourself faced with enemy troops. I will stop right here. Some of you may be emerging through changes. You're going through changes, or you want to be a different person. You want to get rid of some of the harmful habits or change the bad ones for healthier ones. And maybe that's something that you're scared of, or something that you're witnessing. Before I discuss how to deal with family members who are having a hard time with you're growing, take a good hard look at the people in your life generally. Do they support your growing, or do they drag you down? Do you feel good being around them, or do you feel contaminated by their negativity? Are they excited about the new you that is emerging, or would they prefer the company of the old you that you are outgrowing? If the latter part of all 3 questions is true, it is time to consider making some changes. I will volume the music down a tiny bit. Keep in mind that your goal is to move yourself from pain to power in the way you hold your fear, and remember this. It is amazingly empowering to have the support of a strong, motivated, and inspirational group of people. If you are now cringing with the realization that people in your life belong in the weak, stuck, and depressed category, don't worry. Awareness of this fact is the key to the solution. Most of us are not aware that we belong to the moan and groan crowd until we stop moaning and groaning. When we became aware, things automatically start to take care of themselves. How? It's quite simple. As you begin to grow, you will notice you no longer want to be around depressing people. Negativity is contagious, and you walk away feeling lousy after spending time in the company of a negative person. Positiveness is contagious as well, and spending time with a positive person makes you feel as though you can sprout wings and fly. Soon you will become discerning. Energy is tangible, and as you become more aware, you will feel if a person is positive or negative, and you will be automatically drawn to the more positive. The people in your life are a good indicator of where you are operating on an emotional level. Like attracts like. As you begin to change, you will automatically draw and be drawn to a different kind of person. When this is discussed in my classes, the question that always arises is, that's all well and good, but what do I do with the old friends I have outgrown? Many of my students have expressed guilt at the thought of leaving old friends behind. This is understandable, but totally unwarranted. In the first place, they are assuming that their old friends are not strong enough to carry on without them. This is a bit presumptuous and more than a bit belittling to their friends. I can guarantee that as you withdraw from their lives, they will find new friends with whom to associate. The moan and groan society will be around for many years to come, and your friends will always find a welcome home there. There is another possibility. Your newfound energy may awaken your friends to new possibilities, and they may join you on your journey towards power, action, and love. That, of course, would be ideal. It is important to remember that even with your old friends as company, you will want to expand your support system so that you will have all kinds of advanced role models to show the way. If you want to, you can continue reading right here. But for my group number 1, what this is talking about, it is time for you to fly. And maybe you're already flying. And maybe you're already noticing that you have outgrown certain people. And it's not about comparing who's better, who's worse, who's higher, who's lower. It is really about where you want to be. And as it said in the book, some of the people may join you and some of the people may thank you. So this is referring to the circle of people around you, but it really starts with you first. Who you want to be and where you're going. And I really feel it's not as much about saying bye to a lot of people. This is your inspiring version of self that can do quite a lot in your circle. And maybe somewhere online where you're going to share some of your knowledge and wisdom. I hope this made sense, pile number 1. If you feel like you're drawn to a couple of more piles, it doesn't really matter. You can listen to all of them if you want to. Thank you for being here. And as I said before, if you want to join this kind of little, I don't know how I want to call it, game of mine, comment agreed if you want me to read your cards. I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 2. Let's see what we have for you. Before I start, I'm going to remind you, every Wednesday, I will read for one of you in the comment section. Whoever has commented anything, really doesn't matter. If you want to join, please type with your comment, I agree, and I will keep in mind that you are participating. All right? Let's see what you need to hear, group number 2. What do you need to hear? Here. Okay, let's see. 64. I thought I knew about friendship until I spent 11 days traveling across the country in a Chevy Impala with Gail King. We've been close since we were in our early 20s. We've helped each other through tough times, vacationed together, worked on my magazine together, and still there was more to learn. On Memorial Day in 2006, we set out to see the USA in Chevrolet. I remember that commercial from years ago. While I always thought it was a charming idea, when we pulled out of my driveway in California, We were singing the jingle loudly with vibrato cracking ourselves up. 3 days in, around Holbrook, Arizona, we were mumbling the tune. And by Lamar, Colorado, 5 days in, we'd stopped singing altogether. The trip was grueling. Every day, 6, then 8, then 10 hours with nothing but road stretched ahead. When Gail drove, she insisted on constant music. I wanted silence. To be alone with my thoughts became a running joke. As she sang along boisterously, I realized there wasn't a tune she didn't know. She called almost everyone her favorite. This was nerve-wracking for me, as the silence was for her when I was behind the wheel. I learned patience, and when patience wore thin, I bought earplugs. Every night landing in a different hotel, we were exhausted but still able to laugh at ourselves. We laughed at my merging anxiety, interstate anxiety, and passing another vehicle anxiety. Oh, and crossing a bridge anxiety. Of course, Gail will tell you I'm not a great driver. She herself is a master driver, taking the curves on the Pennsylvania Turnpike with ease and steadily leading us into New York. Only one glitch. By the time we reached Pennsylvania, her contacts had been in too long and her eyes were tired. We approached the George Washington Bridge, relieved to end the long run of Cheetos and pork rinds from gas stations. Dusk had fallen and night was approaching fast. Gail said, "I hate to tell you this, but I can't see." "What do you mean you can't see?" I tried to ask calmly. "All the headlights have halos. Do they have halos to you?" "Oh, no they don't. Can you see the lines on the road?" I was shouting now, envisioning the headline, "Friends finish journey in a crash on GW Bridge." There wasn't nowhere to pull over, and cars were speeding by. "I know this bridge very well," she said. "That's what's saving us, and I have a plan. When we get to the toll, I'm going to pull over and take out my contacts and get my glasses." The toll was a long way ahead. "What can I do?" I said, near panic. "Do you need me to steer for you?" "No, I'm going to hug the white lines. Can you take out my contacts and put on my glasses?" she joked. At least I think she was joking. "That would be dangerous and impossible," I said. "Then turn up the air. I'm sweating," she said. We both sweated our way to the toll booth and safely pulled into New York. The crew following us had t-shirts made. I survived the road trip. What I know for sure is that if you can survive 11 days in cramped quarters with a friend and come out laughing, your friendship is real. Group number 2. This reading is implying to, well, not reading really, this paragraph is implying to a particular person in your life right now, someone who you daily cherish, someone for whom you have a lot of compassion, or maybe some of you are learning how to be a little bit more patient. When there was references to the eyes, every time it comes up in a reading, would it be a pick a card, would it be for a client, or if someone has a problem with the eyes, it's always connected to something that they might not be able to see in their life, that they need to see. A particular situation, I need to see it a bit more clearly. A thing for you in particularly about a particular relationship. This paragraph also asks you to focus on building closer friendships with people, especially if you feel like you have been a bit disconnected with someone who is very dear to you. Maybe life happened, maybe they moved, maybe you moved. This is referring to a need for you to focus a little bit more on your friendships and take someone on a date, platonic date, right? If you feel lonely, talk to people, be vulnerable. Some of you also gotta take a trip with a really good friend or someone who you consider a really good friend, could be a family member too, and just go and make memories. I hope this made sense. And remember, if you'll be commenting, if you want to participate, type agree with your comment and you will be enrolled. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, group number 3. Before I start, just a quick reminder, every Wednesday I will come in back to the last videos I've posted from the last week, and I will choose for one of you who I want to read for. I'll see who I'm drawn to. It's not about, who comments what really. It's just about the feeling, whoever needs it. If you want to participate, together with your comment, whatever you're going to want to say, it doesn't really matter. Just type I agree and I'll know that you want to join. So let's see, what is the message? What is the beneficial paragraph for group number 3? Right here, okay. Where do we start? Let's see. There is the beginning. Yeah, let's go to chapter 8. Did you? Some of you wanted me to read about this? I can. I don't know who I'm feeling right now, but let's go. Facing the right fear. Whilst my life appeared to be perfect, one aspect of it was causing me a great deal of fear. I had a lovely home, a wonderful husband, and a supportive circle of family and friends, and spent my free time performing a one-woman comedy show. But at work, I was being bullied by my boss for 7 hours a day, or longer if he applied the pressure, 5 days a week. I was scared, tearful, stressed, and my self-esteem was utterly eroded. It was affecting my health, my relationships, and my life generally. I had previously used the principles of feel the fear and do it anyway many years ago when deciding to relocate to a different part of the country. And after a particularly harrowing week at work, I picked up my very ancient edition of the book and starting glancing at the pages. Reading them gave me immense clarity to the situation I was in and what was needed to halt it. I had to face my fear. My overwhelming fear was that if I confronted my boss, my employers would sack me on the spot, as I had only been there 5 months, and here in the UK, employment rights only kick in after a year. How would I pay my share of the bills? What about our standard of living? Now I'm going to stop right here. Some of you, this is a very specific situation that you may be facing yourself right now, a job situation. For others of you, there will be other messages. It seemed to me that my fear of not having a job was outweighing my fear of my boss. Yet I was terrified of him, as he could reduce me to a tearful, quivering wreck in seconds. Finally, I realized it wasn't the fear of my boss I had to face, but the fear of the consequences of standing up to him. Once I had that in my head, the rest was easy. I spoke to my husband, my family, and my friends about what was happening and the consequences of dealing with it. My husband offered his unconditional support. My parents offered financial help. My sister offered me cash and was an emotional rock to cling to. And my fantastic friends offered me food parcels, freelance work, and a light at the end of a tunnel. Some of you are being asked if you're struggling with a particular situation right now, seek for help. You're not on your own. Seek for help. You don't know how many people want to help you or be there for you until you reach out. Having faced my fear, I contacted a lawyer and the National Bullying Helpline, who then received a second complaint about my boss from someone else in the firm. You're never alone, remember, right? Having received 2 complaints, the NBH contacted my employers. Even though I don't know yet what the outcome will be, I have no doubt that whatever happens, it can't be as terrible as the last 5 months of my life have been. A lot of positives have come from this too. The people who care about me have supported me and covered my back. I have made some lasting friendships and useful contacts, and I've faced my fear. I've emerged from this empowered, my confidence returning, and I've earned back my self-respect. That's exactly what some of you came to hear here. Claim your power. Reclaim it. Now, for some of you, the messages will be here. How whole is your whole life? I won't read too much. I will not read the whole thing. I will see where we need to stop. I am devastated without Jim. He was my whole life. Louise was one of my students whose husband has just divorced her after 5 years of marriage. She wasn't kidding when she said that Jim was her whole life, for that's exactly what she had made him. Nothing or no one else had any real significance. This, of course, explains her devastation and desperate sense of emptiness when he left. For some of you, this is going to be about too much attachment to a particular person. And it can also be, for some parents, your child or your kids are your whole life, but please find your identity again, because in motherhood, a lot of times people lose that identity. So those will be references about that. Make sense? It probably also explains in part the breakdown of the marriage. As I explained, the fear guides to lasting love. Maybe some of you really want to read that book. Dependency in a relationship creates some very unattractive side effects: anger, jealousy, resentment, clinging, nagging, all very unpleasant to live with. These self-defeating qualities are the result of deep-seated fear of losing that which we see as the basis of our entire identity. Bob, a public relations executive, chose to create his identity in the era of work. For him, there was only his career, nothing else mattered. As with Louise, negative side effects accompanied his emotional dependency. At work, he was protective instead of expansive and giving. He usurped credit for everything, ignoring the contributions of those with whom he worked. And in his constant attempt to gain approval from his superiors, he never took a chance. Thus, his creativity was greatly diminished. When he lost his job because of a series of cutbacks, he predictably experienced a feeling of devastation, an extreme sense of helplessness, and thoughts of suicide, all brought on by a horrible feeling of emptiness. His lifeline had been severed. Men and an increasing number of women who have lived their entire adult years emotionally tied to their work often fall apart when they are forced to retire. It is as though their lives are over. In fact, many die soon after the retirement begins. How sad that they cannot enjoy what is potentially the most enjoyable and creative part of their lives. I feel like I'm done. If you want to read the rest, stop it right here. But I hope this was beneficial for someone out there. This was talking about a particular thing, a particular relationship that you are overly attached to, that you made your world, or you may have said to yourself, if this won't be happening, or if it won't happen this way, I will never be happy. Or if I won't have this in my life, I will never be happy. And these may be some of the lies that some of you have been telling yourself, but hopefully this was helpful for someone to hear. And again, just a reminder, if you want to join, participate, type I agree with your comment, and I will keep you in mind. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, group number 4. Before I start, just a quick reminder, whoever comments on a video, it doesn't matter what you comment, and types I agree, I will keep you in mind for a reading. So what I'll do, I will reply to your comment with a reading, and I'll choose one person from every new video that I post. So if you want to join, just make sure that you type I agree, because I want to make sure that you are open, and I want to make sure that you are in need of a reading. My focus point will be what is the most beneficial information for you to hear, unless you'll tell me about a particular situation that you're struggling with. Alrighty, let's get to it. What would be most beneficial for my people, group number 4, to hear from this book? What would be most beneficial here? Oh yeah, nice. Let's see. Talking with thousands of people over the years has shown me that there is one desire we all share. We want to feel valued. Whether you are a mother in Topeka or a businesswoman in Philadelphia, each of us at our core longs to be loved, needed, understood, affirmed, to have intimate connections and leave us feeling more alive and human. I once filmed a show in which I interviewed 7 men of different ages and backgrounds, all of whom had one thing in common. They had cheated on their wives. Maybe that's something that some of you have experienced, or you did yourself. It was one of the most interesting, candid conversations I have ever had, and a huge aha moment for me. I realized that the yearning to feel heard, needed, and important is so strong in all of us that we seek that validation in whatever form we can get it. For a lot of people, men and women, having an affair is an affirmation that I am really okay. One of the men I interviewed, who'd been married 18 years and thought he had a moral code that would withstand flirtatious temptations, said about his mistress, "There wasn't anything special about her, but she listened and was interested and made me feel special." That's the key, I thought. We all want to feel like we matter to somebody. As a girl growing up, shuffled between Mississippi, Nashville, and Milwaukee, sorry I butchered this, I didn't feel loved. I thought I could make people approve of me by becoming an achiever. Then, in my 20s, I based my worth on whether a man would love me. I remember once even throwing a boyfriend's keys down the toilet to keep him from walking out on me. I was no different from a physically abused woman. I wasn't getting slapped upside the head every night, but because my wings were clipped, I couldn't soar. I had so much going for me, but without a man, I thought I was nothing. Not until years later did I understand that the love and approval I craved could not be found outside myself. What I know for sure is that a lack of intimacy is not distance from someone else. It is disregard for yourself. It's true that we all need the kind of relationships that enrich and sustain us, but it's also true that if you are looking for someone to heal and complete you, to shush that voice inside you that has always whispered you are not worth anything, you are wasting your time. Why? Because if you don't already know that you have worth, there is nothing your friends, your family, or your mate can say that will completely convince you of that. The Creator has given you full responsibility for your life. And with that responsibility comes an amazing privilege, the power to give yourself the love, affection, and intimacy you may not have received as a child. You are the one, best mother, father, sister, cousin, and lover you will ever have. Right now, you are one choice away from seeing yourself as someone whose life has inherent significance, so choose to see it that way. You don't have to spend one more second focusing on past deprived of the affirmation you should have gotten from your parents. Yes, you did deserve the love, but it's up to you now to bestow it upon yourself and move forward. Stop waiting for your husband to say I appreciate you, your kids to tell you what a great mother you are, a man to whisk you away and marry you, or your best friend to assure you that you're worth a darn. Look inward. The loving begins with you. What this made me think of is the inner child work, really, and therapy. If you've been going there already, and if you have touched some of those wounds that you may have, this is a big pat on the back for you, saying that you have made significant progress. If you've been finding yourself, doesn't matter what kind of relationship you are in, or it doesn't matter how many supportive friends and family members are around you, keep finding yourself in the same emotional hole, let's put it that way. This is asking you to take care of yourself first. You are the one who's going to give yourself the happiness, make beautiful memories, and love. You can't pour out of an empty cup. When you pour into yourself, a lot of you know, you just become a better version of self. You become happier. You can pour into others more, and others can pour back at you. And when they pour back at you, then it feels right and it feels like it's the truth. Where before, if someone told you, hey, you're doing great in that aspect of your life, if you didn't have it in you, you wouldn't really believe it. So for a lot of you, I hope that this made sense. And also, this made you maybe think, or it gave you a bit of a boost, or it gave you ideas. And just a quick reminder, if you want to participate type I agree with your comment, and every Wednesday I will go and read for one of you in the comment section. I will reply in the comment section, so if you have notifications on, you'll know when I did. Thank you for being here, and until the next time.